Yo, 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 yo. Shout out to Jake E. Lee, who was shot walking his dogs in Vegas. Now, has someone who has been in Vegas recently? Vegas is a real shithole, if I don't mind saying it. Yes, 100%. Where was Sharon, that bitch? Funny thing is, when I was dating the girl who, to this day, Shelly B, is Motorhead's co-manager, or was. I'm not sure what her status is now. She used to work for the Osbournes, and her first job was to cut out Jake E. Lee out of all the pictures. Like, what the fuck? The guy literally rescued Ozzy's career after Randy Rhoads died and Brad Gillis jumped ship to go to Night Ranger. And this is how the guy is treated. Oh, well. So hopefully, from what my sources tell me that he's going to be okay. But who knows? I like the darkness in here right now. I'm proud of my lighting. So hopefully, Jake E. Lee, it's a pity that he doesn't play more. He is a very, very good guitar player. One of the greats from the 80s, from Bark at the Moon. Yes, maybe I could have given him my Versace shirt. Although I don't really wear Versace anymore. So, maybe Steve Stevens, who I believe is a Versace man. Maybe Steve could render help to his friend. Those are probably my two favorite guitar players at the moment. The great Steve Stevens and Jake E. Lee. But Jake doesn't play anymore, really. I went to the Whiskey A Go-Go when he had the Red Dragon Cartel band. And, he looked a little rough, but he still played great. I can't imagine what walking around Vegas in the middle of the night or the early morning hours is like. It's a real dump. So, it's very much like West Hollywood is now. The best venue in LA for concerts. It depends. Like, for smaller shows, I like the Whiskey. It's a very good place to see a show. The sound's very good. For bigger shows, I would say. The Forum was great back in the day. It's just something about the acoustics in there that I really enjoyed. Probably the best live concert I've ever seen was Guns N' Roses. It probably was 91 or 92, the Use Your Illusion tour. Wow. A very, very good concert. And one of the better concerts I've seen, not LA, but in Nashville, I saw Journey and Def Leppard. And I don't know what they're made of in that arena, but it was very amplified. Lois is digging to China right now on the couch. I know. I try and be picky about my late night walk and talks. The Greek is pretty good. I've been there a bunch. Orange County Fairgrounds are good. trying to think. The YouTube Theater has good sound. Of course, I'll be seen in a week and a half bowling for soup at the Anaheim House of Blues. That has good sound. I've been to many a good show there. I do kind of look like an off-duty cop, so an all-Chinese backup band, bold move. I don't understand that one, Cold C. Your humor in this particular case is lost on me. Um, well, I mean, I'm a relatively big dude, but these days thieves don't care. I mean, you guys know where I live. I mean, I'm in West Hollywood, and we have home invasion robberies all the time here. And literally, I could shoot a hockey puck and hit the sheriff's building. That's how close I am to the sheriff's. And the thieves don't care, man. There's no fear these days. I mean, we get armed robberies on my street a couple times a year. Oh yes, the Red Dragon Cartel. I'm not sure why they were called that, but the band was white, Caucasian, if you will. I used to leave my doors open. The CB experiment. Is West Hollywood the gay part of Hollywood? Indeed, it is. It's a 1.9 square mile parch of turf. Getting over a little cold, so I might cough from time to time. For example, I am the only straight man in my building. I live in a 23-unit building. It's probably 35% straight. But I guess the majority is gay. I believe the majority of the city council, if not all of the city council, is gay. Don't people leave cars unlocked in California so their windows aren't smashed? I mean, that's a good idea. I don't know of anyone who does that in particular, to be honest with you, Queen On, but I think with the advent of smart cars, and like my car, I have a BMW X3. I wouldn't leave my windows down because I just wouldn't. But it does make sense. San Francisco's, I mean, that was a dump in 2018 when I played Clusterfest, the Comedy Central Comedy Festival. And they put me up at a nice hotel, but I mean, I've told the story a few times, but there's a guy taking a shit in the middle of the street. And this was a nice part of San Francisco. Guy doing heroin, holding the door open at 7-Eleven. So yes, hopefully Jake Ely, very lucky. I was shot multiple times. So and I'm gonna guess, I don't know why I say this, but I'm gonna guess Jake Ely didn't exactly live in the greatest part of Vegas. Pretty easy, CB, pretty easy. So he was shooting it. And held the door open for me with the needle dangling out of his arm. I mean, it was, and I was like, and then I walked from my hotel to the Bill Graham Theater, and it was just like, man, the city reeks of shit. I mean, it's sad because it's like right on the bay, and like you see Alcatraz and all these great, um, coastline views, but I don't know what Pelosi and Gavin Newsom are doing up there, but they better get it together. Nah, I mean, there's really nowhere for me to move, CB. I could get probably between 1 and 1.1 million for my condo, which sounds, oh my God, just get a house. You're not getting a house around this neighborhood for that. I literally said to my realtor, hey, send me what I can get for 1.1. And there were homes in Compton and in some of the worst parts of town. So I'm resigned to just staying right here for now. I don't live with dudes. I don't want roommates. I certainly wouldn't move to Pittsburgh. Uh, yes, well, that ain't the Venice Beach that I mean, Venice, there are some, like, I would love to live right next door to Gold's Gym, but that's a weird area. Excuse me. Because you've got, like, it's a very gang-infested neighborhood. So on one block, like, right at Gold's Gym, I believe, is on Rose and Hampton. One block over, you've got $2 million condos. One block over from that, you've got a tent city there. One block over from that, nice condos. One block over from that, the Shoreline Crips. So it's Venice is a very strange area in terms of from block to block. Um, yeah, I mean, well, I'll guess that Fitzsimmons lives in a nicer part of town. You think the great Peter Chicken Man Brennan? Jay London and I used to do a show. Where was it? Sunset and by the Palladium. What was it called? Sunset Gulch or something at a Asian restaurant called Umagi's, and he used to sell books outside. The great Jay London, I still see him from time to time. He has passed at the Comedy Store, but doesn't get a lot of spots. I mean, you talk about being a comedy soldier. Jay London is a comedy soldier. Hit the like button while you're at it, pretty please. Didn't people tell him that Louis C.K. stole a joke from him? I don't know about that. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. But it also wouldn't surprise me if, one of Louis C.K.'s openers did a show with Jay London, heard a joke that Jay London said, and then takes that joke to Louis under the guise of that they wrote the joke. So, that's how a lot of stolen jokes get to bigger comics. Usually the bigger comics feature act will hear a joke at an open mic or some shitty booked bar show and bring it to Louis C.K. So a lot of times it's not the bigger comics' fault. Wonder what Jake Ely is worth. Probably not much, to be honest with you, because I think he gave up his publishing to the Osbournes. And even if he would have kept it, he wouldn't be like rolling in dough. I mean, certainly those two albums he played on with Ozzy, Bark of the Moon and The Ultimate Sin, they did very well. He'd probably make 50 to 100 grand a year, in royalties and, whatnot. If, a song Bark of the Moon's used in a movie or something. What was it? Badlands didn't really sell a lot of records. I mean, the first album, maybe 100,000 records. It's and he doesn't really play anymore. So I don't know what he does for a living in terms of money, but I'll guess that's like Steve Stevens is playing in Billy Idol for the last 20 years. So and he does releases solo albums and whatnot. So I could see Steve Stevens being pretty comfortable. So Peter Chicken, you really think Kamala goes on Joe Rogan Experience? I mean, I think it'd be good for both her and Trump to go on. What up, Chris Storin, one of my homies in the comedy scene, the West Coast. I know only 9 likes, Staggy. embarrassing. Uh, but I mean, he took some time off, William. I think in like what was it when "Rock the Cradle of Love"? You know, that's not Steve Stevens on the guitar solo. That's another guy. And then I think they took like 10 years off, but he still was very proficient. Even when he left Billy Idol, he did the Atomic Playboys. He put out a really good flamenco album. I mean, I'm not really a flamenco guy, but that's a very good album. And then he got back with Billy. But, Jakey Lee, I mean, he did the Red Dragon Cartel thing for a little bit, and it's a pretty good album. But, I think he just was one of those dudes who went to Vegas, lost his mind. And, I thought for a second there he might join Rat. That'd be pretty cool to see him and D Martini play together, but that didn't happen. So it's I hope he recovers. Trump will get 10 times the views on JRE. I mean, I don't know if he'll get over Kamala. I mean, I don't know. I would guess it'd be pretty even just because I think the curiosity factor of Kamala going on. I think that would drive a lot of people who normally wouldn't watch Rogan to go watch Rogan. Um, Better replacement singer. I mean, I always felt bad for Gary Sharon and Van Halen. That one album they did was a good album, but his problem was his name wasn't David Lee Roth. So um, you know, there's not much you can do. I mean, in terms of, I've seen Journey with the Filipino dude. He's pretty good, man. Although I hear lately he's had vocal problems. I'm a fan of, I think, what's his name? Angel Pineda. I mean, he does sound a lot like Steve Perry. At least he did when I saw them. I saw them twice, I think in like early 2018. So yeah, I know it is kind of funny that Jakey Lee was shot in the dark. Hello. I mean, CB, welcome to the party, pal. Will you watch the interviews, Earl? Probably not. Earl the Hog Skakel, thank you very much. Anyone know why they should? I mean, I think it was just bad timing. He's walking his dog late night in Vegas. I mean, Vegas, Storin. I mean, that's a real shithole city at night. Especially, I'm assuming it was 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning. I mean, when I did Hackamania, when was that? June or something? And we walked back from the Dirty at 12:30 to the hotel. I mean, man, it was a fucking sketchy vibe. I mean, who knows? I mean, he's probably a night owl like me. I mean, I walk Lois 4 in the morning sometimes, but I walk her in Beverly Hills. I thought he was leaving Journey over money. I mean, he probably doesn't make that much. He doesn't write any songs. They just pretty much sing the hits. Although I did like that one song, "Never Walk Away." "Shot in the Dark" is a banger. Have you tried? I have not. Oh, you know what? I think I have. I've tried their lemonade and their orange drink. I mean, it didn't. Uh, I didn't seem to love it. I'm not a massive Vegas fan. I mean, I don't gamble or drink, so for me, I'm there for comedy all the time. And even I think Storin can chime in on the Vegas comedy scene. I mean, put it this way: um, not Hackamania, but the 2 previous shows I did um, prior to Hackamania in Vegas, my lady friend was like, there's 2 rapists on these lineups, right? So Vegas seems to be quite willing to forget your transgressions. There is a comic right now in the LA scene who hit a woman. It was caught on tape, and everyone's kind of wondering where they're going to end up. And I absolutely think Vegas. Yeah, but I don't know if I believe that, Dylan. I mean, I could see maybe Chris Cornell. I don't see Ozzy wanting to sing Van Halen songs. Uh, yeah, no, I mean, that's my 7-Eleven I go to. I've been there. They've been robbed 2 times in the last 2 months. Uh, Boulder Johnny. Well, I mean, who knows why Griffin got mad? Did you ever see Ichabod from Kill Tony in Vegas? I don't keep up with Kill Tony comics. Staggy. I don't. I've never heard of Ichabod. Um, there's no way Ozzy Osbourne was going to sing Van Halen songs. You'd have to go, okay, we'll sing half Van Halen, half Ozzy songs. And I don't think Alex Van Halen likes playing any music outside of Van Halen. Like, he never jams, whereas Michael Anthony does. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see where this guy ends up. You know, he's basically, for those of you wondering what happened, there was a open micer named Ian Russo who is on tape hitting a woman with a metal water bottle, and he's now done in the LA comedy scene. He's from New York, but word is spread already there, so he can't really go there. And he might be a sideshow freak on Kill Tony, but I don't think Tony and Redband would want him on their show. So I think that Vegas really is the no. If it was her cold, see, the water bottle would be in the hospital. Um, Mexican Silver Lake or hipster Silver Lake? I'm not really a Silver Lake guy, although I did date a lady friend who was there. Is there a list of the most paid rock musicians? I'm sure there is some kind of. I mean, I'll assume Zeppelin, the Beatles, uh, are at the top of the charts in terms of money. He was a weird dude who used to take a bus from Vegas to LA to perform at the store. He would have been great on the Ding Dong Show. Oh, you're talking about Ichabod? Yeah, I mean, I don't really keep up with Kill Tony, so no, I'm not shitting on the show. I just like I don't watch it. I've never even watched the ones I was on. But I'm like that. I've never watched one of my roast battles on television. Uh, well, you got to see it, man. I mean, it's on my Instagram. I think I put it up as a post. He hits her hard, and he's a pretty big guy. And then he took off and got in his car, started hitting cars, and I haven't seen him since. He was part of a documentary about this fourth wall comedy studio, and he was kind of gaslit. Like each comic in this documentary got like 2 minutes. This guy Ian got 16, so they were clearly painting him, to use a pro wrestling term, as the heel. It's still not giving him a pass for what he did, but he was definitely gaslit. Do you play the cellar in Vegas? You should be. I'll talk to you later about it. Yeah, I mean, I would, but I'm not past at the cellar in New York. I've never tried, so I don't know how to go about that. So let me know later. Oh, thank you. It was amazing. I love Jesse Lee Peterson. I mean, someone sent me a documentary about him 2 days after I did the show. I don't know how much is true, but, he was nice to me. I mean, if you go on, Teresa Lowe, let me, it might have been in my story, so it probably wouldn't be sorry, I'm just getting over a little cold, sorry. Most people wouldn't even be fucking doing this. Yes, if you look up, hold on. How do you spell Teresa? Oh, here we go. If you look up, Teresa Low Rider. So TERESALOWRITER. I'm assuming she'll have the video on her stories, or let's see what's on her stories right now, because she doesn't have any current stories. But if you go on her fourth post, she has a whole the story. So check that out. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens to this fucking Momo. I know I do have a cough, is similar to Lois, but I feel a lot better. I mean, last night I was hurting. I didn't even work out yesterday, which for I had a pro wrestler tell me he works out every day. Didn't take a day off, even if he's traveling to Japan. So I was really into this working out every day. So I'd built up like 10 days in a row, and like I was hurting. I was sweating, chills, but now I feel pretty good. So he beats women and cannot drive. Hello. So check out Teresa Low Rider. I see what she did there, Low Rider. You see the Ravens fan knocking out Commanders fans on the street. Check it out. Is that on YouTube? I'll check it out. Queen on $4.99. Name a beloved band or two that has go away heat with you. What do you mean go away heat? You mean bands I don't like? She's got, yeah, Staggy's already on her page. I knew Staggy would be first up in the queue. Oh my God, Are You Ready to Rock has not been seen since his record-breaking super chat day. We thought you were dead. Are you ready to rock? It's good to have you back. Name a beloved band or two that has go away heat with you. I don't know what that means. That I can't stand them. I mean, I don't really hate bands. If I don't like a band, I just don't listen to them. I don't really like grunge music, but I wouldn't say I hate Pearl Jam. So I mean, yeah, I don't really hate any bands. Um, Chris Mack, what up? What up? What up? Uh, Jeff Jarrett of music. I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't like Insane Clown Posse, but I don't hate them. Um, so, trying to think. I mean, Motley Crue, I'm not that big of a fan of them, but I don't hate them. Um, like yeah, I can't answer that question because I'm the type that if I don't like your music or whatever, I will just not listen to it. Well, I remember one night on a Sunday night at the Knitting Factory many, 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 many years ago. It used to be a real hot Sunday night room in the LA scene. Ian Bagg, Nick Swartz, and Anthony Clark when he was like big time. And we were in the small room, and it was really scary to do comedy there because people were right on top of you. And like, if you're bombing and you see Ian Bagg and Swartz and looking at you, it's intimidating. But next door was the big concert room, and there was some gathering of the Juggalos. Now, I don't know if Insane Clown Posse was there, but I'll never forget walking outside and mingling with the Juggalos. Yeah, that girl you sent us to is who he attacked. Now, she might you might want to peruse her page. She might have the video of it because there was a weed shop across the street that captured the whole thing on tape. Um, I mean, they're big wrestling fans to this day. They perform in Independence and whatnot. Um, you know, I mean, WCW toward the end was it was pretty bad, and they were desperate. So that's why I'm now tomorrow night, Mud Sharks Unite. What up? What up? Um, oh, is the video on her page? Okay. Um, I mean, it's a pretty damning video, and like I said, no one is condoning what he did, but if you watch that video or her documentary about the fourth wall, which is an open mic, basically an open mic comedy club, each comic got like 2 to 3 minutes, maybe tops 3 minutes. He got 16, and they really made fun of him, like, they were goofing on him. Doesn't condone what he did, but, you know, uh, you kinda feel empathetic toward him, but now he's hated in the LA comedy scene. Probably NBA players, Queen on. "Hello, lady." Um, I mean, LA comics, they're a strange bunch, that's for sure. Maybe Vegas comics. Storin, you could, chime in on that if you're still in the streamy. Um, who's you talking about? What are you, who taught you English? Well, an LA comic hit a woman, Mud Sharks Unite. So now the big and it was all caught on tape. I did like that, Staggy Waggy. We don't, talk about canceled comics in here. Um, but, I'm surprised someone hasn't made one of those for me. Um, so what are you guys doing for Halloweeny? I'll be at the, West Hollywood Annual Gay Parade. It's a real bop. Uh, well, I don't think, this open mic comic has CTE, but, maybe he does. I mean, uh has always been kinda known for, like, creepy and lecherous, but he's a little slow, so I think he's gotten a pass from everyone. Um, and, no, we're not, talking about Brendan Schaub in here, Mud Sharks Unite. No, no speaking in code. Um, so, which village people are you dressing as this year? I'd probably dress as the Leatherman, Glenn Hughes, who they buried in his outfit. He was my favorite Village People because he was a little manlier than the other guys. They say the first guy that jumped off one of the towers on 9/11, they matched his outfit, was the brother of the singer of the Village People, I think Victor Willis. Do you think Vinnie Vincent is a male or a female? I mean, I think he's a male, but like, he dresses like Hillary Clinton, so I don't know. A lot of people have pointed out that he has tits, but, like, that could be he's just fat now. Earl, how often are you doing Today Fabulous at the parade? Wait, I need that in English. Earl, how often are you doing Today Fabulous at the parade? Who taught you English? Sean Kemp? Mud Sharks Unite. Fun facts with Earl. Let's start a new segment in the stream. Ask Earl anything, except about the Dabbleverse. For those questions, you have to pay. Peter, Chicken Man Brennan, was the guy who jumped off the World Trade Center related to Doc Willis. Come on, man. Doc Willis was my Jellies castmate. He played the militant black guy in the Jellies, and he was so funny. He killed it in the Jellies. He's much funnier than me. For those of you not knowing, Doc Willis, legendary lot guy at the Comedy Store. How often are you gonna say fabulous at the parade? I mean, it's pretty freaky deaky, that parade. I'll tell you that right now. Like, it's from, like, Doheny and Santa Monica. I know the Chicken Man knows these streets to, like, say, Crescent Heights. It's, like, literally a 500,000 people, all half naked. Like, it's wackadoony. Um, but it's really fun. Everyone's cool, everyone's taking pictures of everyone, and there's some punani on the parade route, so I usually do quite well. on the parade Punani route. How many dudes you going to turn on? Hello. I don't know. I mean, I'm a good looking guy, so I probably will turn on some dudes. I mean, for a 56-year-old white guy, I'm pretty good looking. Earl, you should flop out the hog at the parade. Maybe, maybe. Peter Chicken Man Brennan, fun fact. What's the worst thing you've heard Tommy say? I cool boy, I can't say that on a stream. I cannot say that. Well, I'll have to delve into Dabbleverse lingo because I respect the Chicken Man. I will. So I walk into the original room one night. Yorsi, a black comic, is on stage, and I'm trying to figure out a way to get on stage, and Tommy just walks up to me. Now I had never met him before, and he just looks at me and goes, "Well, Yorsi's acting like a real Newport tonight," and he didn't say Newport. And you'd think that that would be bad enough, and then he doubles down and goes, "He's really aping out." And I think I agreed with him because I was like, "Well, this is the guy I gotta get spots from. Yeah, can I go up?" Well, it's not just that, okay, say. Uh, Bob Levy, 56. I mean, Bob's, for a guy who lives pretty hard, he looks pretty good. My favorite cartoon as a kid, probably Wile E. Coyote. Um, and then it wasn't necessarily a cartoon, but it was like a religious cartoon. Davy, it was like claymation. I don't know, Davy. I don't remember what it was. Do I think Tommy had a huge influence on Kumia's career? Probably, no doubt about it. Thanks for the punch up, Mud Sharks. Yeah, you guys can all help each other in the stream. Well, booze really ages you the worst because it dries out your skin. Um, and alcohol. I would say um, it bloats you too, and drugs. Meth. If you look at Mark St. John and Kiss, if you Google him, Mark St. John Animalize, he looks like a normal 80s rocker. And then you look him up toward the end of his life. He looked, I mean, no teeth, gaunt. I mean, look at Jake E. Lee. I mean, Jake E. Lee was a great looking dude, because he was like Filipino, I think half Asian, half white. So he had that great skin. And then, you look at him in more recent pictures, he definitely looks a little older. Yeah, the sun, definitely can age you quicker than most things. Um, got any recommendations for comedians? I mean, I liked Artie Lang's biography. You could tell he really loved his dad. I mean, I don't read a lot of comics biographies. That's probably um, the last comics biography I ever read was Artie Lang. I agree. Jakey Lee looks kind of rough. I mean, like, I get it. He's older. I mean, fuck, he's got to be a little older than me, so early 60s maybe. But he's lived a hard life, man. I mean, he's lived in Vegas for like the last 25, 30 years and like smoking. And I don't know if he's a big drinker or not, but every picture I've seen him, he's had a cigarette. So smoking will fucking age you too. Um, so, uh, I've heard Steve Martin's was great. A grape or cherry? I'm going to assume you meant cherry. I'll go cherry. Grape or cheesy? What are you talking about? Peter, Chicken Man, Brennan. Fun fact: what comic would you want to party with at store during their prime drug years? Joey Diaz, Pablo, or Argus? Probably Argus because he was a pussy hound. So I'm sure there would be some fish around him. I forget what the name of the book was, Ross, but I go with Cherry. We don't talk about that in here much, Sharks Unite. We don't do that kind of talk in here. Um, yes, bullets will age you very quickly. Um, well, I mean, Argus is a good looking guy still. Like, he still gets laid. I know a few girls lately who've, I mean, I don't want to put him on blast, but I know some girls who he's taken down. Um, so yes, thank you much, Sharks Unite, for understanding. I mean, we can, I think you're relatively new to the stream. We don't dabble in the Dabbleverse in here. Are you drinking? I mean, it's pretty big water. It makes my throat feel better. I've had a bit of a cold the last few days, and water makes me feel better. Um, I'm sure Florentine's book is great. I mean, he keeps it real. Peach or pear? I like peaches better. Thank you, me, for the hard questions here. You guys aren't fucking around today. Hit the like button, babies. Now I released a stand-up video from the Comedy Store Sunday night yesterday, and another segment for me and Jesse Lee Peterson. So I'm trying to pump up the algorithm for YouTube, baby dolls. Have you ever seen Don Jameson with a female? I don't hang out with him, so I don't know what his preference is. 97 or 89. 89. I was king of the ring in 89 in the LA scene. 97 was a year right before my parents died, so I don't like anything around that year. Florentine's book is all about taking upper deckers in other people's rooms. Uh, wait, Peter Chicken Man Brennan, Club or Ritz Crackers? I don't know what Club is, so I'll go Ritz Crackers. Earl, I mean this genuinely with no smark. How are you, man? I'm pretty good, actually. I mean, you could always be better. Could always be worse. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to kill myself or anything. Too much great stuff read. It's called Everybody is Awful. Club crackers. Oh, I don't think I've ever had club crackers. I mean, I'm not really a cracker person. 97 or 93 or 87. I mean, 93, I was dating a great girl named Anne, who I still talk to. She's married with 2 kids. 87, I hadn't even been laid yet, so I'll go with 93. Um, too much great stuff. But I'm good. Thank you for asking. I'm in the toughest business in the world, stand-up comedy. Earl, you pounded the bottom out of Anne, and come on now. We can't talk about a married woman like that. Anne was very cool. And even a decade after we had broken up, her parents still had me over for dinner. Parents are my specialty. Peter Chicken Man Brennan, I meant to write Club or Ritz Rapper. Hello. That's a rap. Ritz Cracker Rapper. Yes, Big E21 salute to Stugatz to the Earlverse. That's a yes. Cracker sleeve. I mean, I took care of business. So how are you, Staggy? It's good to have the fans check up on me. Merle, Earl, Burl. Merle is what Stephen Piercy called me when I very first met him. He was doing a book signing at Book Soup, so I bought the book, and I could tell he was pretty tired. So they had this thing where they had a yellow Post-it note that Stephen would just open up to sign his name. And he said, "What's your name?" I said, "Merle." He said, "Burl?" I said, "No, Earl." And it was like a comedy sketch. Earl, Viagra, or Cialis. I tried Cialis once years ago and didn't really do much. I've never really taken Viagra outside of the one time my friend's father had deceased and he gave me all his Viagra. I'll go Rhino 69 at the gas station. But now you have all these new ones. Earl, try Blue Chews. I don't even know where to get them. Hot Rod 5000 used to give me really bad headaches. Well, no, don't do that, Staggy. I mean, as someone who has been in more bad breakups and whatnot, it could be worse because in the world of stand-up comedy, I can't. I just had it today. Someone come up to me, "Hey, I saw your ex on a date the other day." Like, why would you tell me that? And then a week ago, similar situation, different girl. It's like, what? Would you take 2 Viagras at once? I mean, well, it's funny that day, so we go over to my friend's house. His dad had passed away, and this guy was a real pervert. Um, he's the type of guy that would go to the Beverly Center and pass out his business card that said producer on it. He was a real scumbag. I was also with him once at the Rainbow where this girl with this gigantic dude walks in and goes, "That's the guy over there." And I guess my buddy had fucked this girl and said he was a producer. He was not a producer, and her large boyfriend had a issue with him, headbutted him right in front of me. And then he looked at me and said, "Hey, man, I'd never seen your girl before in my life." Even though I was in the closet watching my buddy fuck this girl. Hello. So we go over to my friend's house and he brings down what must have been 100 Viagra pills in a plastic bag. He says, "Hey, Skakel, you take these. My dad don't need them anymore." And this is in the early days of Viagra. So I took one just out of curiosity. I wasn't even having sex with anyone at the time. Nothing. I mean, it was like a wet noodle down there. I'm like, this shit don't work. Took another one, nothing. I ended up taking 4 Viagra tablets. Now, his dad had the 100 milligram tablets. Most Viagra tablets are 10 to 20 milligrams, but his dad was rich, so he got his hands on like the wacky um, milligram Viagra. And I woke up the next morning with the biggest boner you've ever seen. I mean, this boner would have impressed an NBA locker room. And it hurt, like, it was painful, so I had to go to the doctor and, like, with a huge boner, and, basically, he's like, "You just gotta jack off until you come." I'm like, "You went to medical school to dole out that kind of advice?" So, I did exactly that. Um, I know all these Ask Earl Anything, it's a new segment in the Earlverse. What's your BK order? I don't really eat Burger King. I usually would probably, if they had a chicken burger, I would take that and a diet sody pop. Um, Producer of cum. I guess. I just tell people out there I work on the financing side of the business, which isn't technically a lie since I work in banking. Uh, did the doctor help you get rid of it? It is a lot. I mean, it was literally 400 milligrams of Viagra, where the normal dosage for someone my size is 120 milligram tablet is good to go. I mean, it was painful. Earl, did you pound nails with that angry hog? Yeah, indeed, I did. And the rest of '97, Earl whacked it. It happened at Christmas. Well, I just thought, I thought, this was in the very early days of Viagra, where you didn't really know how to work uh, the dosages properly. And so I literally took 4, and even when I went to bed, I mean, well, here's the weird thing. When I went to bed, I was beet red from my stomach to my head. I mean, I looked like I had I was so dark, I looked like I was in blackface. I'm like, isn't it supposed to be that way down there? And then for whatever reason, it just took place when I was sleeping. Can you create a non-80s Spotify playlist of your taste to listen to, like killers or new music? I do have, Dylan, I don't know if we're friends on Instagram, but if you Instagram me or Twitter, I will, um, send you my it's called Earl's '80s Wank Fest, and it's a combination of the Killers, the Click 5, Kiss, Rat. It's like hundreds of songs that are a bop. Was the boner a Virgil? It was a Virgil, no doubt about that. The doctor must have been licking his lips when he saw that hog. I mean, I walked in there and there's like four old ladies. This doctor's a general practitioner, so it was primarily like he took care of my parents, but he also saw me just as a favor to my mom. Um, I love me the Click Five. She's cold and she's cruel, but she knows what she's doing. Do 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 do. She pushed me in the pool at a last school reunion. Do 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 do. Fucking bitch. I'm sorry. Let's start over. Um, wasn't originally a heart medication with a consistent side effect. I believe it was. Because I think what it did was it opened up the blood vessels around your heart. So if you had like clogged arteries or stuff like that, and most people don't realize your dick is just one big artery. That's why, a boner is caused by blood rushing to that area. So Earl had that month's highlights in front. If the boner was a comic, do you think it would be a successful comic? Mine would be. Fuck yeah. All the girls in school knew why you were carrying your book in front of your crotch. FYI, I didn't do that well with girls in high school. Actually, I did horrible. To be, I know I'm done. I'm done with the roast. I'm out of the roast battle business. No, thank you. People, and I still get battle offers. I mean, how bad is the show today when you're trying to get me to battle again? Someone who hasn't battled in 7 years. Oh, maybe because I had an impact on the show. You guys love winding me up talking about roast battle. Um, thank you, Animal Mother. You guys are great for my ego. With the boner comic headline, of course. By the way, I put on Instagram. For those of you who don't do YouTube, my 15-minute set from the Comedy Store Sunday night is my newest post. Thank you very much. I mean, some people go on streams on YouTube, but they don't watch on YouTube. So, I'm trying to take care of the fans. Earl, everyone likes you and you can afford to do it. Why don't you start booking your own shows in the main room? Because to be honest with you, bro, I couldn't fill the main room. I mean, I ain't Matt Rife. I mean, Matt Rife did one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. He filled 2 main room shows on a Wednesday night, different crowds. Uh, you wouldn't get back into roast battle even if it was the battle of the boner. No, there's no one or any object that I would ever go up those stairs and make Jeff Ross money. I made that guy enough money. So I don't. I'm out of the roast battle business. Yeah, but I don't want to book shows because then you get me. Then you get known as a booker. To be honest with you, 100% Mud Sharks Unite. I'm on a gag order, but I agree with you. Have you ever traveled around the country doing comedy clubs? I have. I used to open up for Rob Schneider for 4 years. We hit every area you could name: Canada, Nashville, Florida, Virginia, Winnipeg. I mean, I was um, inducted into. Oh, there is a good side of this business, touring with Rob. Um, and Rob is trying to help me get on Guffeld. So, um, I have tremendous love for Rob Schneider. Deuce Bigelow, you can do it. Where do you? What area in the East Coast are you? I know Guffeld is. In New York, of course, I'd have to be careful, in New York. There might be some snipers, out there trying to take Skakel out. Parker Curry, I believe you might be new to the stream, brother. I love Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt was very good to me when I met him at the Comedy Store. Here's a funny Bray Wyatt story. I was in the hallway. If you've been to the Comedy Store, there's a long hallway. Usually most comics who have a spot in the OR wait in the hallway because you can see in the room, but you don't have to be in the room. And all of a sudden, my name's about to be called. I look to my left, and here in comes Bray Wyatt. And he never really looked that big to me on TV, but in person, he was fucking a giant. Like, I'm a pretty big guy, 6'1", maybe 6'2", 200 pounds. Like, I'm a big guy. And he sat in Mitzi's seat, which is the bucket seats in the back of the room, basically the VIP seats. And I just started doing all wrestling jokes. I was like, hey, anyone remember that wrestler IRS? That was his dad. I had no idea that guy wasn't I had no idea he wasn't an IRS agent. I thought they just had that guy on the road so the wrestlers would be good with their money. No one's laughing but Bray Wyatt in the back. And then me and John Sosis, who was the co-host on one of the co-hosts on the Comedy Store Wrestling podcast, we took Bray Wyatt and his wife up to see Mitzi's office. Now, to show you how sacred Mitzi's office is, I had never even been in Mitzi's office. And we opened the door, and it's like a time warp into the 70s. Nothing that's been changed in that office. I think literally the last day Mitzi was there, whatever she was looking at is on that desk. And Bray Wyatt's like asking me all these questions about Argus, and like he was a comedy fan. And then we went on the roof, which nobody gets to go on. I mean, I've barely been on the roof in the 20 years I've been up at the store. And we just talked comedy. I mean, I snuck in a few wrestling questions, but Bray Wyatt's a great man. Was a great man. It does me, 100%. 100%. I'll put in a good word for you, Earl. Hey, listen, that's why half the reason I do these streams. You guys are the Earl-omaniacs. Gotta have you on Gutfeld. Way better than a lot of comics they have on. I mean, I think I would do well because I like Gutfeld's actually better when he's bombing, and that's when I would jump in. Like I think I can just tell we'd have a good chemistry. No, we don't have to get into who I'm worried about in New York, but it is no one in the Dabbleverse. I don't like Chris Benoit. I don't think many people like Chris Benoit. Daddy Man, Eleanor, Davey Wester, Gaylord Dingler, Boone Shakalaka, Jimmy Pidd. That show can't miss. I mean, you're gonna have trouble booking Boone for that. Oh, are you a Steel Toe fan, Mudsharks? We don't talk about that in here. What's so special about the roof? Well, it's just no one. I mean, I guess nothing really. I mean, it's just a roof, but it's amazing views. Like, and they've taken some iconic photos up there, but um, it's just no audience members have ever been allowed on the roof, but it was just kind of neat to be up there with one of my favorite pro wrestlers. I had met Bray Wyatt once before, very briefly, when Sarah Tiana took me to WWE wrestling at the Forum. I think the main event was Russo against Brock Lesnar. It was unbelievable to see those guys wrestle up close. And then Dolph Ziggler against The Miz. And so we go backstage, and I think Sarah and Dolph were talking. So I just started walking around, and I opened up this curtain. I bumped into Brody Lee. And he's a big guy, man. He's bigger than Bray Wyatt. Rest in peace, both of them. And he just looked down at me with a little smile on his face and goes, "Watch it, kid." I'm like, yeah. Okay. Yes, the boner does need someone to hold the mic. Absolutely. What you gonna do when the Earlverse maniacs run wild on you? I mean, that's why I do these streams, man. Because you guys are warriors. Like, share, and hit the fucking subscribe button, brother. Whatever happened to Benoit? He was my favorite then. I went on vacation for 2 weeks and he was just gone. They never even said anything about it. Yeah, are you trolling Cold C? Get out of town. It's probably harder to get on the roof of the hotel next door, though. The one is a lot easier. Well, it wasn't too hard for Steve Lebeck. And hello, what a minute. Are you and the boner aren't Siamese twins? You guys love talking about my dick. Colt C, he had a Bowflex accident. I used to work out next to the guy in the original Bowflex commercials. Kind of a good-looking dude. Remember that guy? And I said, hey, man, do you really use that? And he just looked at me and goes, I don't use that shit. What did you think of the Wrestle Dream pay-per-view? I thought it was good, not great. I thought they made a mistake not having Bobby Lashley debut in the Swerve segment. Because, we've talked a lot about AEW, and, their problem is they need to get WWE eyes on their product. And Dynamite's tomorrow night. Now, maybe Bobby Lashley debuts tomorrow night. I don't know. But I just think it would have been more impactful if he would have debuted at the pay-per-view in the Swerve segment, which would have been perfect. Now, it seemed like they were trying to set up a Shelton Benjamin segment or whatever, or a match. Shelton Benjamin can go, so I wouldn't mind seeing. Maybe they're going to wait for Shelton Benjamin and Swerve, and then Lashley comes out. Now, I heard they didn't have Lashley debut at Wrestle Dream because if you watch the whole pay-per-view, Daniel Bryan got a beatdown at the end. He's a hometown boy. Swerve is a hometown boy. And I heard that they didn't want 2 hometown beatdowns. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but not really. So I think that the first 2 matches were really good. I loved Jay White and Hangman. Jay White should be higher up the food chain. And I don't know. It was good, not great. I don't think there wasn't many, if not any, water cooler moments. Like you wake up the next day and go, "Did you see this?" I mean, Adam Cole came back. That was cool. MJF came out. That was cool. So they're clearly setting up maybe something between MJF and Daniel Garcia, or maybe MJF and Adam Cole. Maybe it's a 3-way. But not awful. I mean, someone said it was long. I didn't think it was long at all. I mean, I've definitely seen longer pay-per-views from AEW. Yes, Ospreay. Thank you, Crumb, very much on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Jesse had sent me an interview he did with Jamie Kennedy, and he said, you should watch this before you come on just so you get an idea. And I like to go in blind, so I didn't watch it. And I would say probably about 20 minutes into the interview, I was like, maybe I should leave. But Jesse was good to me, so I had a good time. Ospreay, Ricochet, and Takeshita, that was a great match. And it is a spot fest. It's almost not even wrestling, man. It's like choreographed dance, but it's still fun to watch. You either love that stuff or you don't like it at all. So you either rate that in Meltzer terms a 5-star match or you hated it. Biggest pop: NWO makes their WWE debut or Rogan returns to the store. Well, he's already been to the store, I think. So I think the biggest wrestling pop I've ever heard. There's a few that are kind of under the radar. Is when Magnum TA had his accident and he was Dusty Rhodes' tag team partner, and their main villains were, the Russians. So I think in the storyline, it was going to be Magnum TA and Dusty Rhodes against the Four Horsemen, or Arn Anderson, and I think J.J. Dillon. And so Dusty Rhodes walks out to the ring, and then the camera pans back, and Nikita Koloff is walking behind him. Now, this is the height of the Russian hate in America. And Dusty Rhodes gets in there, and he starts battling Dillon and Arn Anderson. And this was great acting by Nikita Koloff. He gets to the it's a steel cage match. He gets to the top of the ring, looks at the crowd, looks at them beating up Dusty Rhodes, looks at the crowd again, goes into the ring, and he's acting like he's going to hit Dusty Rhodes, and he starts beating up J.J. Dillon and Arn Anderson. That's a huge pop. Huge. I mean, no fake crowd noise. It was awesome. And the Goldberg Hogan match in the Georgia Dome. I mean, that's a fucking hot crowd from the get. Yes, definitely a lift of women would wake anyone up. It might even wake James Earl Jones up. Do you believe Dave Meltzer has any ownership in AEW? I hear he has 3%, but I don't know. Magnum Hog. My porn name would be Dick Nasty. Oh, it was. I mean, watch that on YouTube. Like, I don't know what Nikita Koloff face turn, and it was so well done. Other big pops. Well, really, Hogan turning heel. I mean, that was like wrestling 9/11. Um, Dick Ritz. Hello. Peter North, big pop indeed. The North Pole. Trying to think other big pops. I mean, Adam Cole's AEW debut was big, and that was really well done because Kenny Omega had just won a match, and he's doing his little heel speech, and everyone thought Daniel Bryan was going to come out, and instead it was Adam Cole, and then Daniel Bryan comes out. I mean, that's probably the best double debut of all time. Earl Richard grew up on Nasty Circle. I don't know what that means. Stone Cold helps Mankind win title. Yeah, I mean, there's some definite WWE pops. Yeah, I mean, Kevin Sullivan, great heel. If you watch the kind of the territory days of wrestling, the Von Erichs got some huge pops in Texas. Junkyard Dog in was it Mid South was the man. I don't know. Someone told me Peter North drank silver, which apparently is like good for your boners. So, maybe we'll do a live watch, a live. Well, no, I'm taking yoga tomorrow. I'll come home. I don't know if I'll be ready to stream, but we'll watch a little AEW Dynamite tomorrow. Yes, the Nation of Hog Domination. That's a good way to end the stream, I think. Let me thank the tippers, the super chatters, the whatever you want to call it, the fan funders. Thank you, Queenon, for being a loyal fan. And thank you guys for always being Earl soldiers. I thought it was your first name in the street you grew up on, so my porn name would be Earl Roca. What's the best set you've ever seen at the store? Did it shake the room? That's not good. Billy Gardell in the main room. He got a standing ovation, and Billy's not a store guy. I don't believe he's passed. I'm sure he doesn't care, but his main room set on some benefits show was like, holy fuck. Some other great. I mean, Joey Diaz in the original room, like he murders the room. I mean, I like like that. I've had some great sets in the OR. I can't say I've ever murdered the room. I mean, there's killing, and then there's Joey Diaz, what he does. We love you too. Are you ready to rock? Best set. Main room. See, I don't watch a lot of comedy, to be honest with you. So I haven't seen. I rarely watch comedy. So, like when I saw Joey Diaz, I was in the original room hallway. That's probably the scaredest I've ever been. Was I was on the lineup with Joey. Joey went on, I don't know, 10 o'clock. I was supposed to go on like 11:15, but the comics from 10:15 to 11:15 weren't there. So I had to follow Joey Diaz. and I did good. He gave me a great intro, which helps. So, um, that's key. When someone kills and they give the comic after them kind of a shit intro, it's bomb city. But Joey is Ray Romano does not perform at the Comedy Store, Dr. Chow. You're trolling me to try and we don't talk about that guy in here. We don't we don't do that talk in here. We're a nice tight stream of comedy and wrestling and my dick um, and whatnot. We don't do that kind of stuff in here. This isn't your and Zamek's show. Um, so that you guys are the pros. Dr. Chow, we're just about to end the show, so always a pleasure. We'll probably stream tomorrow night. Earl Skakel, over and out.